Here's the thing about self-confidence. Once you have it, all areas of your life are going to benefit from it. You'll get better jobs, you'll be more likely to receive raises or promotions because think about it. Would you rather invest in someone that is confident, that knows what they're doing, or someone that is unclear, always sounds unsure, and always nervous? The same applies for your relationships. When you are confident, meaning you know who you are and you know what you're bringing to the table, there is something magnetic about that. Because not only are you going to inspire people to have more confidence in you, but also you are going to build more healthier relationships because you know what your boundaries are. But contrarily to what we may think, confidence is not only about walking or dressing up a certain way. It is deeper than that. It comes from within. I believe self-confidence is when you finally understand who you are and what you are truly capable of, and you show up accordingly in the world. So in this video, I am going to address both the internal and external ways of how to become a more self-confident person. Let's get into it. Number one, stop seeking external validation. When it comes to self-confidence, I feel like this is the hardest thing to work on because we are so wired to always think and react according to how society perceives us. When I look back at my not so confident self, and maybe you can relate to that, I was the girl in the classroom that would not dare to raise their hand to ask any questions because I would be so scared of, being judged by my classmates and for them to think that my question was silly or dumb. Even when I would be in a group of friends or a group of people or even like group chats, I would be more like a passive nodder and less of a participant in the conversations because I would be so terrified of what people would think of what I would say. And even in my relationships, you would see it very easily because I would be such a people pleaser, and whenever a friend or someone would ask me what I would like to do or when I would like to meet up, I would always say whatever works for you because I just did not want to come through as the one that's annoying. So if you also see yourself in those scenarios, then you also need to work on your self-confidence and stop seeking external validation. And I know it is so much easier said than done, but you need to remember one thing: nobody cares. Or at least, nobody cares that much. To be honest, to think that people are going to care so much about what you say or do is a little bit delulu of ourselves. I mean, think about yourself for a minute, okay? Let's say you were in that classroom. Have you been in a situation where someone asked a question and you were like, oh my god, this is such a dumb question. I have no idea why they asked that. Or if you did think that, did it last longer than a few minutes? I am sure it did not because you had your own life and your own thoughts to return to. The truth is that nobody cares so much about anyone else than themselves. And if for some reason they do care so much and they do criticize or judge you, then it's kind of sad. That means it would be a projection of their own insecurities on you, and I would suggest you create a little distance with them because they're not good news. The point is, the only opinion that should matter is yours. And again, I know that's so much easier said than done, and the way to do it is to do it very gradually. Slowly get comfortable doing the things that appear so terrifying at first, like maybe asking this question in class or replying in that group chat or just sharing your point of view in a group conversation, or even dress up like you want despite what anyone else might think. And you'll see how slowly you won't be needing any external validation anymore. Only your validation is going to matter. Accept yourself as you are. This is slightly related to my previous point, but starting to accept yourself as you are is going to be key for your self-confidence journey. The faster you start accepting yourself for who you are, what you like, what you don't like, the easier it is going to be. Because a self-confident person is someone that is unapologetically themselves, meaning they know who they are and they do not hesitate to show up as themselves. They're not trying to be anyone else because they have accepted who they are, what they stand for, their character, their personality, and they are going to honor that. That is not to say that you should settle for who you are and stop improving your character or even enhancing your looks. Not at all. But you need to know that there is only so much you will be able to change about yourself, because there is a reason you are you and anyone else is anyone else. In other words, you need to make the most of the cards you've been dealt with and play the best game. Let me give you a for instance. So at some point in my teenagers, I thought that I had to lose some kilos in order for me to feel pretty and be confident. And you know what? It did happen. I did lose some weight, but nothing had changed. It did not make me feel any better. And after the weight, there were other things that I thought I had to fix in order for me to feel pretty and confident. You see what I mean? If you let it, there's always going to be another thing that you think you need to fix before you become that confident person that you want to be. So the faster you accept yourself for who you are, the better it will be. And that means two things. Start getting comfortable with how you look and start getting comfortable with what's going on here and there. Let's start with the looks. I don't really remember where I got it from, but it was probably some podcast that I listened to. But one thing that really helped me accept my body the way it was to stare at myself in a mirror every day for 5 minutes at least. And I know that sounds so weird and a little bit cringe, but the truth is it felt that way too, which is when I knew that was kind of something I had to work on. So I would do this in the morning after my showers, alone in my room, in front of my full-length mirror while I do my skincare routine, and I would feel so uncomfortable, and sometimes I caught myself hiding myself from me. I just thought it was very sad that I could not get comfortable with the sight of my own body, which is when I knew I had to do some major work. Because I knew that if I could not accept my own body, how could I ever be self-confident in the world? So even if it started as a very uncomfortable exercise, slowly I started being more comfortable with myself, and now I don't even think so much about it and it doesn't bother me at all. And one thing that did help me in that process was to shift my mindset, because we are so used to point at all the things we do not like about ourselves, but not so much at saying or seeing the things that we truly appreciate. So instead of looking at your flaws in the mirror, try to shift your mindset and look at what you love and focus on that instead. And after some time, I promise you, you'll be like, I don't look that bad. And you'll feel so much more comfortable in your skin and at home in your body. Now that we have talked about accepting our looks, let's talk about accepting ourselves. But here's the thing though, before even accepting who we are, our character, our identity, whatever you want to call it, you need to get a better understanding of who you are. It's like you need to read the T&Cs before signing the contract. You know what I mean? We need to get to know ourselves better, and we do that by spending time alone. Personally, I hated being on my own before. Like, any time that I would be alone, I would feel lonely and I would not know what to do with myself, and I would be so bored. If I was at home alone, I would have to put the TV in the background because I would need some white noise to cover up all the thoughts that were happening in my head, because that would give me anxiety. And if I was in a public, then it would be like a nightmare, because I would constantly feel like people are looking at me and judging me, and I just did not know like how to not be awkward. I knew that was not normal, so I had to do some major work there too. And now I am so comfortable in my own company. I am alone, but I never feel lonely. I absolutely love it. But I do want to assure you, this happened over time. I had to take it a step at a time, you know. Maybe you start with sitting a little bit in silence and getting comfortable with what's going on in your head. And then you decide to take a walk around your neighborhood. And then maybe you are more comfortable and you decide to get coffee and sit somewhere and do some people watching, or even journal in a cafe, just like let it all out, all your thoughts and feeling, whatever is going on in your life, just let it out on paper. And slowly you'll just find that actually your company might be the best company. The point is, just like you do make time for your friends and your family and your loved ones because you want to bond with them and you want your relationship with them to become stronger, you need to make time with yourself for your relationship with yourself to become stronger. And so that can be done by either sitting in silence, journaling your thoughts and feelings, or doing some people watching, or doing any type of activity. It could be pottery, painting, or just like going on a walk or playing golf. It could be anything. And over time, you'll see not only how comfortable you are with yourself, with just like being on your own, but also you'll get such a better understanding of who you are, what you like and what you don't like. And now that you have done the deep work, sure, there are some other tools and tips that you can do to just like boost your self-confidence, but that is just cherry on the cake. It's not the cake itself, The first one would be working on your representation in the world. Nothing groundbreaking here. We have all experienced the difference between working from home one day in our PJs, slouching on the couch, versus getting ready in the morning, putting some makeup on, and even a cute outfit. Our whole energy would be different. It would show in the way we carry ourselves and somehow in how capable we are too, because chances are when we do put some effort in our looks, we are more productive. Which is why even if I know I am not going to go out and I'm going to be working from home the whole day, I do a little minimal makeup and put some outfit together because it does really help how I show up during my day. The next tip is to follow through on what you said you were going to do. If you keep having those big plans but you keep falling short on your own promises, you are letting yourself down, and this is going to impact your self-trust. You're not going to believe that you can do it anymore. This is going to make you doubt yourself and what you stand for, and ultimately impact your self-confidence. And we do not want that. You need to be able to put your actions where your words are. Otherwise, your words are not going to be worth much. People are not going to take you seriously, and worse, you are not going to take yourself seriously. So instead of overcommitting and not being able to deliver, be more realistic with what you want to do and actually follow through. It is always better to start small and build up on it rather than promise big and then just crash. Once again, I had this problem before, and to be honest, sometimes it still happens to me. I would just like underestimate the time it will take for me to do things, or sometimes I will just get very excited and ambitious about what I want to do, and then I cannot follow through and I am disappointed with my performance. In turn, that makes me question my ability to do things, and then it affects my self-confidence. I am very mindful of this, and so I do my best to do what I said I was going to do. Anyways, this brings us to the end of this video on how to be more self-confident. I hope you enjoyed it. I really do believe that working on your self-confidence is going to help you in all aspects of your life. From your job to your relationship, having more self-confidence is going to be such an important building block in your self-development journey, and it is going to put you in a much better place in life in general. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon for another video.